Okay, we're gonna start. So we're talking about the personalities, right? And so we're gonna go now to personality type 2, the helper. Yes, that will be that one there. So what you need to kind of know, right, in Kabbalah is about those different types of the soul. The soul has a different functions, right? So the soul is just one, but it has functions just like you and your body has the liver and pancreas and all that. So the difference between soul, the word soul, right, which is nefesh, and spirit, which is ruach in Hebrew, has to do with personalities. So the nefesh is the code, or that we call it the spark that everybody has. So the soul is the same soul. Soul does not change. My soul and your soul is the same soul. What makes it a difference is the ruachs, or the ruchot, we call them, which is the type of personalities. The idea is that when we sin, or we had a separation, we call it a cosmic divorce. So there was a divorce between my spirit and my soul. My soul, who has the DNA, it has the instruction of how to be happy, how to do well. My spirit is the idea of how to manifest that happiness, how the flavor is going to be. But because there was a divorce between the two of them, the soul got trapped in the unconsciousness, and your spirit got trapped in your consciousness. And so they are very divorced. They don't meet that much. But the problem will be, right, that because I have a divorced soul, my soul cannot help me. Cannot help me because it has the codes of what are the commandments, or what is the rules of my life. But knowing my spirit will help me go back into my unconsciousness, right? Well, everything is Yahweh. It's only one soul. But when you put it in you separate the functions, then that's where your ego resides. Your ego resides in your present, in your consciousness, or what you call consciousness. It tells you who you are and how you look and everything.
Is the ego part of the body, or is it more of a spiritual?
It is part of the mind.
So when you die, it pretty much dies too.
No, actually, no. The ego is not the spirit, but it resides there. You mean the ego dies when you die? Yeah.
So it's with the flesh.
Yes. Yes, because when I go back into the realm, I will be known like I used to be known, not like I'm now known. Yeah. Yes. So, saying that, we talked about type 1. What did we learn about type 1 personality? What was the main things that you found out last week?
They're very anal, very habitual. They always want to be right.
Control freak. Yeah. What else?
On the negative side too, they could go on the deep end if they don't get their way, or so they could really go down a dark path if they don't get if something's not functioning their way,
Yeah.
because they feel like they're losing control.
Yes.
They party hard.
Yes.
You said that it's very easy for them to go from hot to cold. Because they're very balanced.
Once?
Because they're so insecure. Because they're so perfectionist.
Yeah, perfectionist. Yeah. They're very sensitive. Maybe not hot and cold, but more sensitive. Right? That's what they are.
They don't take judgment from perfectionists.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to say at once? Their fear is to become what they judge. That's what the fear is. We'll see it later on. Okay? Uh-huh.
I do like what you just mentioned about the soul and the spirit when they separate that divorce. But doesn't the spirit in itself at times, because it can heal itself and it will find itself and can come back and then connect?
Yes.
So I think that's a mechanism that's part of the spirit that will never leave. Because if you feel it, then it can come back to its soul, to its origin, and be whole again.
In that whole,
Isn't that a balance? Isn't that
yes, yes. Oh, great thing. When that happens, it's called no more ruach or nefesh. It's called neshama. Neshama, which means you're intellectually ready.
the 10th realm? Or I mean, the 10th.
Yeah, the 10th,
Yeah.
the zero personality.
Zero, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how come it feels like when your light dims, like your soul dies?
When the light dims, what do you mean?
La luz se apaga.
Like darkness?
In your,
Like when you have no Torah, you're just like a
oh, yeah, well, yeah. Because your spirit wants to leave.
not the soul.
The soul gets trapped. Your soul is really asking for it. Look, you wanna now about that. Look at, I want to show you that because I think it's important you to get it. Let me get the passage here, and I'll show you how it works. Let me see here. So I'm going to read you this code. Okay, this is the code when it comes to that. So the Egyptians believed that when the soul, when the body dies, your soul and your spirit, depending how they lived in this earth, would stay together for the afterlife. But if the soul and the spirit were not together when they were in the body, then when the body dies, the soul and the spirit will separate. The spirit will go to the chamber of the king in the pyramid of Giza, way in the top. And the soul will go to the chamber of the queen, who is in the bottom in darkness. Left. So here's the pyramid, right? The pyramid like this. So there's like a hole like this up, and then here it bends and it goes up, but there's another little pathway going down. That's how it is. So the chamber of the queen is darkness. You will stay in a dreamy state. Even though you're dead, you like sleep, but dreaming the same thing that is happening. You don't know you're dead. That was the idea of the Egyptians. Yeah. Well, there was ways to get out in the Egyptian idea, right? Osiris needed to come and help you, which is the god of resurrection, right? Osiris. You had to. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. You had to go through processes. But they call it Ka and Ba. Ka is the soul, which was a little wheel. And Ba used to be a little bird, like a little, como que fuera una cigüeña, like with a little peak, very like long like that. You see them, right? In their language, right? Oh yeah, the Ba. It's called the Ba and the Ka. So the reason why they got mummified is because that way the body would stay intact and the soul and the body would stay together. They don't escape. Because what happened, and also the Pharaoh says, when I die, you have to bury me with everything that is mine, including my slaves, everybody. They were buried alive.
Why they weren't killed first?
No.
I thought they were killed.
Oh, no.
Sacrificed. Alive? Even the wife?
Everybody.
So she was mummified alive.
No, not her. Only him and his possessions. And which means his slaves. Slaves were possessions.
They were mummified too, or they were mummified?
No, they were not mummified. Do you know why?
They weren't worthy?
No. Why did he do that? Why did he wanted his possessions? No. Oh, maybe, but no. Not really. He knew, the Pharaoh knew, that the moment that I think this is mine, this is mine.
He didn't want to share his possessions.
No, actually, it wasn't that. Even though I imagine there's some people that would do that, right? No, his idea was, if I believe this is mine, part of my soul is in here. So if you bury me, right, without this, then piece of me stays in this world. And I cannot go with my other part to the chamber of the kings. So they were trying to do like a shortcoming. Yes. They were, sí, por favor. Yo no tengo la fuerza. By the force. So, the key to keep your soul together and they will not separate is that you have a harmony between the earthly things and the spiritual things. That was the teaching. They knew it. Of course, they wanted to have a shortcuts. So they say, oh my God, I indulge so much on the physical stuff, so I need to take it with me. That is why. So when your soul goes into the dream state, that's where for them ghosts and spirits become alive. So for example, if the Pharaoh, in this case, loved his castle, then the soul repeat being there every night. So that's why you hear people say, oh, you know, they were washing the dishes. What? The ghost was washing the dishes? You're like, doesn't he have not better thing to do than wash dishes? Because he's repeating what he used to do when he was alive. Because he's in a dream state of repetition. That means, if that thing is true, if you're suffering right now and you don't get out of it, you're going to repeat it for a long time when you die. Maybe that's what hell is in that realm, you know? So this is the idea. Now, to make it more easier to you, that's the idea of every culture there is in the past. So just not the Egyptians. Sumerians did it, Hebrews did it, everybody had the same idea of two souls or two-part soul. We call it a binary soul. So it's two of you. One that goes up and wants the things from heaven and one who wants the things from earth. This is what Paul used to say, my spirit and my soul fight with each other, right? And don't let me do what I want. Saying that, right? The spirit, they will go up, because the spirit will go always, because the Torah says, and everybody says it, that the spirit goes back to the one who gave it to you. You're a beast or you're a human, both go to the same place. That's what the Torah says. But the soul is different. So the ba, or the soul, the what we call the ruach, the spirit, which is this personality, right, goes up. And it stays in heaven or in a state of thing with other spirits. And then it comes back to another body. That's what we call reincarnation. Your soul doesn't come back, your personality comes back. And that's why you say, man, you just act like your father, or you act just like your great grandfather. It's not your great grandfather, but it's the personality of your great grandfather. Got it? So Yeshua said, he asked, from what spirit are you from? What is your type of spirit you have? Because they wanted to do something crazy. So I'm going to tell you a story how you codify these things in the Bible. And then we can go to personality too. But I think this is important to you to understand.
So your soul doesn't come back, it's your spirit.
It's your spirit.
What happens to the soul? It wanders.
It has to wait to claim a body at the end in resurrection. That's why for Kabbalists, we believe in resurrection and we believe in reincarnation. Right? Because we believe in resurrection. We believe that eventually everybody will resurrect.
By the spirit will go into it, and the soul are supposed to reunite
In resurrection.
in resurrection. By then you could have had 10 bodies.
Exactly. It's going to be a war at the end of the day. There will be only one body and 10 souls trying to get in. That's what we call Armageddon.
So how come some people believe that a piece of every body will become one? I've heard that too.
Well, eventually it's only one soul. But like cells, they have to fight for their survival. You know, the same thing. So what we call Armageddon, of the end of days, of the terrible day of Yahweh, it is when your soul has to fight for their body. You're right. It could be 10 souls fighting for one spirit. But you can stop this. There's a way to stop it. So that when you die, you do not die twice. That's why the Bible calls the second death. Have you heard of that? Second death? No? So in the book of Revelation says, it says, condemned are the ones who have a second death. So not you die physically, but you die spiritually when you get split between your spirit and your soul. So actually you're here to harmonize your spirit and your soul. That's why we want you to enjoy life, to enjoy your earthly things, and also enjoy and be spiritually bound. So that you can be combined. So when the body leaves you, two of you become one.
That kind of means that if you do live your purpose, your soul and your spirit will live together.
Yes,
That means that
you don't have to go back.
you can't come back.
You don't have to.
You don't have to, right? You stay there until there's time, until you have to come back.
For resurrection, for that body, but just, you don't care because the body is the body, but the spirit is already united. That's the key of a Kabbalist. Right? So I'm going to teach you the story because you probably heard the story, but now that you know. So the players are the body, the soul, and the spirit. That is the... Hi, amor. That is the players. So I'm going to tell you a story where 3 players are going to be in it. You tell me now what I told you, what do you think? This is how Kabbalists read this text. I know you read this text before, but now with this idea, you'll see it. Hopefully you'll see it. Here we go. Now, a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and his sister Martha. This Mary, whose brother Lazarus now lay sick, was the same one who poured the perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. So the sisters sent word to Yeshua, Master, one you love is sick. So in the code, Mary is the spirit and Martha is the soul, and Lazarus is the body. How do we know that? Because the spirit is always tending to be close to heaven, and the soul is always tending the shores of the world. So remember, Yeshua came to teach at the house to them once, and Miriam, which is Mary, sat at his feet, listening to his teaching, and Martha was cleaning, was just doing all this stuff, and then Martha says, "Hey, why is she not helping me?" And then Yeshua says, "Because she's getting a better portion than you." So they were not what? They were not harmonized. Everybody was doing their own thing. So your personality has to be bound to your soul. When your spirit or your personality does whatever it does, it becomes crooked. But if your soul, which is where the Torah is, become one, yes, you are number one, a perfectionist, but you are a perfectionist for the right things in your life, right? You defend and you want to always improve things if you are in the spirit with the soul. Does it make sense now? Okay, so see what happens in the story, because if you listen, you see it, okay? I told you already the story of the Egyptians, so it should click. Here goes. When Yeshua heard this, the sickness will not end in death, he said. Now it is for God's splendor, so that God's Son may be glorified through it. Now Yeshua loved Martha, which is funny, because in the true story, I mean the story is story, he's really in love with Mary. If Yeshua would like somebody, this is the girl, not Martha. It's Mary. This is John 11. Right? There's a lot of that he really loved Miriam. Her name is Miriam, not Mary. Miriam, you know. But in the text here, because it's a code, he says that he loved Martha. Why? Who's Martha? The soul. So what do you think God loves more inside of you? Your spirit of your soul. Soul. Because the spirit is your personality. We can get away with your personality. We cannot get away with your soul. Your soul is the essence of you.
Yeshua has to prove his glory to us. Spirit goes back to
Yeah. So here goes. So now Yeshua loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. But her sister doesn't give the name. He gave names only for Lazarus and for Martha, understanding who truly is Miriam, right? So when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days, which is the code of duality, is the code of binary soul, because you have 2 souls in you. That's why you fight all the time with yourself. You are a little bit schizophrenic, bipolar by nature. That's the quirkiness of our brains. And then he said to the disciples, let's go back to Judea. But Rabbi, they say, short while ago the Jews were trying to stone you, and yet you're going back? Yeshua answered, are there not 12 hours in the daylight? Anyone who walks in the daytime will not stumble, for they see by the world's light. In the person walks at night, that they stumble, for they have no light. After he has said this, he went to tell them, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I'm going there to wake him up. His disciples replied, Master, if he sleeps, he will get better. Yeshua has been speaking of his death, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. So then they told him plainly, Lazarus is dead. And for your sake, I'm glad I was not there so that you may believe. But let's go to him. And here's the quote. Thomas, somebody know what Thomas means? Yeah. His name means something. When the Torah gives you a name, it's a code. Who cares who was Thomas? But the name means twin. Twin. Also, he's known as Didymus, which is twins. Both in Greek and in Hebrew, his name means the same. And the scriptures give you both names, Greek and Hebrew, telling you, you are about to see the mystery of the duality of your soul. Right? Said to the rest of the disciples, let's also go that we may die with him. So he was being more sarcastic on this one. Okay? So here we go. Listen to the story now. So, on his arrival, Yeshua found Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now, Bethany was less than 2 miles. See all those multiples of 2s? Is the code of telling you, you're about to see the duality of things. Soul and spirit, soul and spirit. And he says, from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha, and now they mention Mary, to comfort them in the loss of their brother. So remember that it was Miriam, the one who put the perfume on his feet. She cried, and she washed Yeshua's feet, right? So this girl is totally connected with him. Feet in Hebrew means sensuality. A rabbi would not allow nobody to touch her feet, less a woman.
I've heard that she was also I've heard that she was also the prostitute.
No.
Gonna get stoned by the Jews. They defended.
No, that would be more, no, it wasn't at all. But in the Catholic idea, it was Magdalene. She's the one she's a prostitute. Yeah, we don't know exactly who this girl is. I mean, it makes no sense, the story. In the first century, nobody's going to allow themselves to touch their feet, less a rabbi. So this is just out of it's not kosher in any way, right? But she's there, right? So here goes. You know why? Because every night when you go to sleep, your spirit goes back to him. You have a connection with him every night. Your soul stays in the body.
How come I can't remember? Is that when we drink?
Yes, when you dream. Yeah, you dream every night. All right, ready? Ready? Because this is going to help you understand these personalities. So he says, when Martha, and many Jews had to come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Yeshua was coming, she went out to meet him. But Miriam stayed at home. That's odd. But Lazarus already dead. Martha is in limbo, and Mary is at home, back to his wherever she came from, because she's the spirit. So when somebody dies without being harmonized, the body gets destroyed, the spirit goes back to Yahweh, and the soul gets into a limbo state of dreaming state. So if you're suffering right now, exactly that's what you're going to do for a while. It's going to be a replay. It's your memories. Your soul is your memories. That's why I always say you need to make better memories. Make better memories. Try to be happy. Try to enjoy life. Yeah? Not mindful at all. Because you're in the unconscious state. I can teach you this more deeper because there's a deeper teaching on this. But I can tell you that what happens is that your soul goes first into the state of light. And you feel like the euphoria, like everything's going to be okay. But if the spirit's not there, it gets dark. and you feel lonely for a long time, like floating in an ocean. And I'm giving you descriptions of thousands of people who have near-death experiences. That's exactly what happens. Read them. Oh, I saw a light. Right? I saw my parents, I saw my blah, blah, blah. But listen to it to the end. And then most of them are going to say, oh my God, I am not alone. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a good idea if we start harmonizing your life, right? I don't know. Which, if I'm wrong, let's say I'm totally wrong on this, you still will have the benefit of harmonizing your life and have a happier life here. So there's a win-win situation. Yeah, so even if it's not exactly how I tell you, at least I will make sure that you and I are happier here, living here, even if there's nothing else after this. Which is not true, but right? So let's see what happens. So Mary stays at home, right? Martha is alone because Lazarus is in a tomb for 4 days. He's gone too. So Martha is the one who's having an issue. It's your soul who will have the issue. That's why Yeshua says, keep your soul. Guárdala con temor y temblor. You have to you have to really take care of your soul. Your spirit can do that by your personality. You can keep it together if you understand your personality. All right, so then Martha said to Yeshua, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Right? But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask. It's not Mary, the one who knows these stories. It's the soul that knows Torah. The soul recognizes Yeshua. And the soul knows that he has the power to bring things back. Not the spirit. So your personality is not very spiritual. It's very human.
I was going to say that. It's our personality that doesn't allow us to do this.
When it's a balance. Yeah. And it's a good question because the reason that the personality doesn't allow you to connect is because personalities are based on fear. Yeah, which is fear. Fear is your primordial emotion. People don't think that fear is an emotion, but it's an emotion. It's primordial. It's the number one. Kabbalah says, listen, be fearful of sickness. Hopefully that way you'll be healthy. Or have pleasure being healthy so you will never be sick. You can use both. Be fearful of the sickness or have pleasure of your health. But you need to use one of those. So I always tell people, if you're not having pleasure right now, at least be fearful of what could happen to you if you die. At least. Hopefully it's the opposite and you have pleasure of living and you say, oh man, this is great. I don't even think about death because I'm so having a good time. Harmonize. All right. Shall we continue? Okay, here we go. Yeshua then says to her, your brother will rise again. Because that's the resurrection. Resurrection means the body will get reconstructed or renewed. That's what he's saying. Look at what Martha says. Martha answers, I know, because the soul always knows. If you ask your soul, it will tell you exactly what to do. But it's in your unconsciousness. Can't reach it. And that's why you always feel like lost. But she knows. Yeah. So she says, I know he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. So she was right on. Yeshua says to her, this is it, look at, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. That means even though they're dead physically, their souls and spirit stay together. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Isn't that crazy? So I know this is going to sound kind of like Star Wars Part 9, but I'm going to tell you something. The day that we teach that we don't have to die, we'll stop dying. That's a teaching of the Kabbalists. The day that we start teaching and believing that we don't need to die in order to get anywhere, we will not die anymore. We are dying because we are conditioned to die. I know it sounds like craziness. There's a great book by Berg. It's called Immortality.
That makes sense because I know a lot of Christians that their purpose in life is to die because they think they're going to go straight to heaven.
Yeah,
And they don't even enjoy life.
yeah.
And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yes. So I'm gonna read it again because this is a promise. So I'm just giving you the promise. You can take it wherever you want, but he goes again. Yeshua says, "The one who believes in me will live even though they die." So there's some people, they'll die, right? But they will still be alive. Are you okay with that statement? Well, hopefully, yes, if you're a believer. You will say, sure, that sounds okay. But then, if you believe that one, you should believe this one. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. And that one you don't believe. You believe the first one? Oh, yeah, I'll die, but I'm still alive in heaven. But the other one is, you should never die. It's our perception. It's this matrix thing that we have. And then he asked her, do you obey to the laws? Look at what she says. She says, yes, master. She replied, I believe that you are the Messiah. You don't see that anywhere. You don't see that the disciples even saying this. But she said it. And she's a nobody really by any means of standards of religion. She says, I believe you are the Messiah, the Son of the Elohim, who is to come into the world. After she has said this, she went back and called her sister Mary. So she says, okay. What happens though? This is great. He says, now Yeshua had not yet entered the village, but was still in the place where Martha had met him. Look at Martha was not even in the village. She was in limbo. When the Jews who had been with Mary in the house confronting her, notice how quickly she got up and went out. They followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Yeshua was and saw him, she fell at her feet and said, Master, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. So now it's secondary now. She's on the other side. When Yeshua saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in the spirit and trouble. Where he have you lay him, and another says, and he cried also. So then you know the story. And then it says, where do you bury him? And they took him to the tomb, and it says, Yeshua wept. Because it's giving you every emotion or every character. When somebody dies, we cry his body. Not his soul. His body. We won't see him again. Right? Mary is in limbo, doesn't know what's going on. And Martha is just waiting for her turn to come back. And you go. That's your three parts of your soul. Would you have seen it like this if you just read it? Right? That's why it's important to know codes. All right, very good. So let's go quickly. I hope you like that one because, yeah. So if you're into that type of idea, you should go to and get the book from Berg called Immortality. Immortality is it's probably a PDF. That book is. Yeah. He's gonna tell you deeper why is the you dying?
Pero in John 11, Joshua said, whoever believes in me will not die. But you know, there's people that give their life to Christ on their deathbed,
Uh-huh.
when they live the life of egoism, and they feel like they earned their way
Oh, yeah.
for eternal life. So they imagine that their soul and spirit are going together.
That's religion biggest lie.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's the biggest lie. There is nothing you can do to merit heaven. We as Kabbalists don't talk about heaven like that, but just to give you a name or place, we say heaven. Heaven is reality, knowing who you are. It's here. You just don't see it. It's been here always. You're just so tired and so confused that you're like, you don't see nothing. Did you see the Matrix? Well, that's it. But the twist of the story is that all the three places is the Matrix. Even Zion is the Matrix. Huh? Yes. Actually, they're all still in the Matrix. Even Morpheus, who thinks he's outside, he's not outside because he's still controlled by the Oracle, who is in the Matrix. So religion is like that. Religion is like Zion. Oh, we're free. No, you're part of the system still. Is it the Matrix? Oh, good. Oh, good. There's a fourth one coming next month. All of them are going to come back. All the actors. Yeah. It's called Resurrections.
Of course.
Oh, my goodness. Amazing. The repetition? Yeah. Replay. I love that movie. Yeah. Well, she's my favorite actress. Yeah. I like her way she acts. She can really change characters, you know. All right, here we go. So personality 2 now. This personality is a really interesting personality. So I told you, in my story that I gave you about the party personalities, right? Perfectionists go there, and she or he is going to look at things and go, we should put a tent here because the sun is down. What are you doing? Buying the type of beer? That's not a good beer. This is a good beer. This is what ones do, right? Number 2 says, oh my God, they invited me. I know they don't like me that much, but they invited me and I need to get in, be part of the group, so I'm going to serve them. So she goes in or he goes in and he helps washing the dishes, doing things. You know, there's people like that you like, so acomedidos, decimos, ¿no? Acomedidos. ¿Cómo decimos en inglés acomedidos? Well, yes, but in a good way. No. In a good way, like somebody who you know, like helps you, who helps you, like.
You said last time that that's the person that no one likes, but you invite them to the party because they always bring beer.
Yeah, he brings the beer. He will take care of things. So he's kind of annoying, maybe, but hey, we need him for the chips, right? That's sad, right? I'll tell you why. Because it's pretty sad. So let me give you some of when that person, number 2s are okay. They're caregivers by nature. So they're nurturing, empathetic, supportive, altruistic. So you know what that word means, right? Altruism. It means no ego. Egoless. Giving with no reason. Yeah. So if you think about these good things about this personality, almost look like Yeshua in many ways. Yeshua says, I give my life for you. I don't need anything back. I'll give it back. So let me tell you, because I want you to learn the lines of Kabbalah. So Kabbalah comes from a long time ago, right? But there's three main lines now that we learn from. Three textbooks or text teachings. One is called Layman, Michael Layman. Michael Layman will teach in his Kabbalah about altruism and bestowing. That everything is given to you through bestowing. You know what bestowing means? Bestowing. Give something, exactly. Bestowing means give something, but in more of a, yes, but more like legal right. Very good. It's a court word. Bestowing upon, yes. No, mi amor. So I can tell you, I give you this. And something is, I give you the authority of this. So I can give you something or the authority to do what you need to do with it. Right? So Michael Layman, which is a great Kabbalist, he will teach you that. So if you want to know more about altruism and bestowing, that's the guy. If you're more into cause and effect, into receiving and giving, into astrology, that type of idea like that, will be the Bergs, Kabbalah Center. That's another line. And then the third one is they call Inner Org, which is Ginsburg. His name is Ginsburg. It's his totally scientific Kabbalah. Inner.org. .org. That's their website. It's by Ginsburg. Huh? Oh my goodness. He's brilliant. Oh, the thing is you have to really pay attention because his English, he comes and mumbles. You have to get used to him. No, that will be layman. Ginsburg doesn't have a translation. He can speak English. He went to MIT, mathematics here, and he was, a genius.
And number two was who, I'm sorry?
The Bergs Kabbalah Center. So the book that I tell you about immortality is from Kabbalah Center. Easier books. We like them because they're so easy to read. Yeah, they're nice. But if you really want to go deeper, you want to go Ginsburg or Layman. So we always try to introduce people with Berg because it's the easier reading. But if you know Kabbalah, it's kind of redundant.
Berg is a B-U-R-G.
Uh-huh. Berg. Yeah. B-E-R-G. And you'll find a lot of them in PDF now. So this is when they're okay. When they are at their best, they're helpers, altruism, supportive, empathetic, nurturing. When they're starting to get stressed, starting to get tense, the type 2s become codependent, flattering, interfering, become the victims. I always do things for you, and you never do nothing for me. That's the 2s.
Well, they have 6 personalities.
Huh?
They actually have 6 personalities.
The 2s?
Well, they have the wings, but then they only have 3 lines, supporting lines. Number 2.
They have it
Number 8
in number 4s.
and number 4.
Not 7 and 1?
1 and 3 are wings.
Okay.
You call it wing.
Uh-huh. When they are really bad, when they really are off the chart, they become manipulative, guilt is installing, stealing, victimizers, self-serving. The problem with them is they want to please you, so they get whatever from you. But then they start suffering because they're not receiving anything. You have to be careful. You always want to be honest that you want something back from somebody. Do not believe that you just want to be because you want to be because you're a nice person. Does it make sense? You always want to know, why do I want you? What do I want? There's nothing wrong. Because if not, you become like a two. Oh, but I was nice to you. Oh, but eventually you're going to want something back. So why not know it? That way we know we can do it. You might tell me no. So why do I need to continue doing what I need to do? Right? So you always want to, the twos get confused because they forgot about themselves. They're pleasers. But you cannot be pleasers forever. Does that make sense? So they will say something like this. Being in a relationship is very important to me. When I'm isolated, I feel as my world might fall apart. So twos have a hard time being alone. I take pride in knowing others' needs without their having to ask. So they become very, what will be the word? Very fatal attraction, right? When they were wrong with it, yeah. I don't need others as much as they need me. That's what they want. They want you to need them. Did you saw that movie? I think it was called Misery.
Oh,
Did you see that movie?
the author? Oh, you gotta see.
Oh no,
Thing. What happens to him?
he's a writer.
Yeah, right.
He's a writer, and the lady is
She wants him to actually change the storyline.
change the storyline.
She wants it.
Yeah,
You could do it. You're not
he breaks his legs in order for him not to leave.
First she ties him up.
Yeah.
Then she tells him she's going to break his legs.
Yeah.
She breaks him.
He breaks them.
No, and then she nurtures him back to, like, misery. That's
So you have to be careful if you're a two. You can become preoccupied with your own wants and petulant when others don't acknowledge your uniqueness. When you're under stress, caregivers move toward eights. So remember the eights? I told you about the eights. What did the eights do in the party? That's why I give you that story. What did the eights do? I don't care. I don't care if you don't like me. I'm here. And you're stuck with me, so these are the bosses. So imagine a two being nice to you all the time, and then you don't do what they want, and they get stressed, they start bossing you around. All right? And when they feel insecure, the caregivers can display tendencies of force. What is the force? The artist, the melancholic. So they even fall in love with you. So when the twos are insecure, they fall in love with the person that they're trying to serve. Pretty twisted in the mind, huh? But that's our personalities. I mean, they all can go crazy on you. We all can go crazy at each other. That's why we need to harmonize ourselves. Or we are going to have problems. I'm telling you. All right? So we did 2. Next week we'll do 3. All right? Thank you for coming.
the matrix.
The Matrix. Watch it again because it's one more month.